Today is about breaking chains around a certain limiting belief that many men hold. If you've ever believed that women are not as sexual as men or worse, that there's something wrong with you for wanting sex as much as you do, it's time to wake up. You've been sold a lie. The truth is, women are just as sexual as men, sometimes even more so. They might express it differently, sure, but make no mistake, their sexual drive is just as intense. Today, we're going to break down these misconceptions, dismantle the societal pressures that have kept you in the dark, and help you lead with confidence. By the end of this, you'll see the abundance of opportunities around you and how to unlock them. The truth about women's sexuality is simple. Women are just as sexual as men. Period. Society has conditioned you to believe that women aren't driven by sex the way men are, but that's simply not true. The difference isn't in desire, it's in expression. Men are often praised for their sexuality while women are judged for it. So, instead of openly showing their sexual side, many women keep it beneath the surface. Don't let society fool you into thinking that women don't want sex. Multiple studies have shown that women think about sex just as much as men do, and they fantasize just as frequently. A survey published in the Journal of Sex Research found that women report high levels of sexual desire, but they're taught to suppress it. Why? Because they don't want to be labeled or judged for it. So what happens? Women hide their sexual desires, not because they don't exist, but because they're trying to avoid societal judgment. Women's sexuality has always been a source of power, and society has spent centuries trying to control it. Societal pressures and social dynamics. Now let's dive deeper into those societal pressures. For centuries, women have been taught to hide their sexuality. Meanwhile, men have been given the green light to explore theirs openly. This double standard has created the illusion that women aren't interested in sex, but that's not the case, it's just that women are forced to play a different game. Society uses shame to keep women's sexuality in check. Terms like slut were historically used not by men, but by other women to control competition and maintain social hierarchies. Women have been taught that expressing their sexuality openly is dangerous, that it could ruin their reputation, make them unworthy of love, or devalue them in the eyes of men. The result? They keep their desires under wraps until they're in a safe space where they can finally let loose. As a man, understanding this is crucial. Women want sex, but they've been conditioned to be indirect about it. This is where your leadership comes into play. If you can create an environment where she feels safe to express her desires without fear of judgment, you'll unlock a side of her that most men will never see. Indirectness is key to how women communicate desire. Now here's the thing, women aren't always going to be direct about their sexual desires. They've been taught not to be. Unlike men who are often more straightforward, women tend to communicate their attraction and desire indirectly. This is a social dynamic that evolved over time, partly as a defense mechanism to avoid being labeled or judged. What does this mean for you? It means you need to pay attention to the subtle cues. She might not say, "I want you," but she'll drop hints. She'll lean in closer, touch your arm, laugh a little harder at your jokes, or find ways to keep the conversation going. A lot of guys miss these signs because they're waiting for something more direct. But that's not how women work. Men who are successful with women understand this game. They know how to read the signals and respond with confidence. If she throws out a playful challenge or a sarcastic remark, she's testing you. Not because she's uninterested, but because she wants to see if you can handle her. Stay calm, stay confident, and keep the interaction flowing. Maintain your frame and never be rattled. This brings us to the next point, maintaining your frame. When it comes to sex, women often test men to see if they'll crumble under pressure. These shit tests aren't random. They're designed to reveal whether you're the kind of man who can lead or if you're easily rattled. For example, she might playfully tell you, "You're trouble," or "I'm not that easy." A nice guy would typically back off because he thinks he offended her or crossed a line. But a confident man understands that she's testing his strength. Women don't want a man who backs down at the first sign of resistance. They want a man who can stand his ground. By maintaining your frame, you show her that you're unfazed by her tests. You're not thrown off balance, you know who you are, and you're not afraid of a little pushback. This confidence is what separates the boys from the men, and that's what will keep her coming back for more. the origin and weaponization of the word slut. Let's talk about this special word. It's a word that has been weaponized to shame women into conformity. But what's interesting is that the term wasn't originally used by men to control women's behavior. It was primarily women who used it to attack other women. This allowed them to maintain social dominance by labeling women who openly expressed their sexuality as lesser or unworthy. The fear of being called a slut runs deep in our culture. It's a tool of social control that has been passed down through generations. But here's the truth. Women who are secure in their sexuality don't fear this label. They embrace their desires without shame, and they'll only do that with a man who makes them feel safe to express it. As a man, you have the power to help her break free from these chains. By creating an environment where she can be herself, without fear of judgment, you'll allow her to express her sexuality fully. And trust me, when a woman feels safe to express that side of herself, she'll reward you in ways you can't even imagine. How to overcome objections without losing your masculine frame. Let's keep it real. Often, women will throw up objections when it comes to sex. Maybe it's because they're still testing you, or maybe it's because they've been conditioned to resist when it comes to openly showing their hand. Either way, your job isn't to push her, it's to lead her. Here's how you handle objections. First, never take them personally. A woman's objection isn't a rejection of you, it's a test of whether you can lead with confidence. Instead of arguing or pleading your case, simply acknowledge her objection and move forward with calm certainty. Let's say she tells you, "I'm not sure I'm ready for that." Don't panic, smile, lean back, and say something like, "That's cool, I'm not in any rush." Then give her some time and try advancing the interaction later. By staying calm and collected, you show her that you're in control of yourself and the situation. Over time, she'll start to feel safe enough to lower her guard and let her desires come to the surface. Sometimes this can even happen in the same day, but the trick is, no matter how long it takes her, you must not lose your masculine frame in the process. The power of sexual polarity, why men must lead. Sexual polarity is the driving force behind attraction. Masculine energy and feminine energy are naturally drawn to each other, but only when there's a clear distinction between the two. As a man, you need to lead, not just in life, but in sex too. Women are naturally attracted to men who take the lead, who aren't afraid to own their desires, and who can guide them into deeper intimacy. This doesn't mean being aggressive or pushy, it means being confident in your role as the leader of the interaction. When you take responsibility for the sexual dynamic, you make it easy for her to follow your lead. Women don't want to be in charge of the sexual encounter. They want to feel safe and turned on by a man who knows what he's doing. Speaking of leadership, let's talk about responsibility. As a man, it's your job to take responsibility for the sexual dynamic. That doesn't mean pushing her into something she's not ready for, but it does mean guiding the interaction in a way that allows sex to happen naturally. Here's the truth. Women don't want to be the ones driving the sexual encounter. If she feels like she's the one in control, it will kill the attraction. Women are wired to respond to a man who knows how to lead, who creates the right environment, and who takes ownership of the moment. This also means being responsible for the emotional and physical consequences of sex. Respect her boundaries, but don't shy away from your role as the leader in the encounter. When you own the responsibility, you show her that you're a man who can handle intimacy with maturity and confidence. Embrace abundance. Women are everywhere. Finally, understand this. There is abundance all around you. The lie that women aren't sexual or that they're only interested in a select few men creates a scarcity mindset, a mindset that makes you believe your options are limited. But the truth is, there are women everywhere who are just as interested in sex, connection, and intimacy as you are. Once you start seeing the world through a lens of abundance, everything changes. When you stop viewing women as these elusive creatures who don't want the same things as you, you'll start to notice how many opportunities for connection are out there. Women want to be desired. They want to be with a man who makes them feel safe, excited, and understood. When you lead with confidence, maintain your frame, and embrace your own sexuality, you'll naturally start to attract more women into your life. From an evolutionary perspective, women have always been drawn to men who exhibit strength, leadership, and confidence. These traits signal that a man can provide security, protect her, and handle life's challenges. It's no coincidence that these same traits also create sexual attraction. Women want to feel like they're with a man who can take charge, not just in life, but in the bedroom as well. Evolution has wired women to seek out men who exhibit strong, masculine energy. And when you tap into that energy, you create an irresistible pull. Remember, it's not just about being physically strong, it's about being mentally and emotionally strong too. Women are incredibly attuned to a man's confidence, his ability to stay grounded, and his willingness to lead. When you embody these traits, you're tapping into millennia of evolutionary programming that makes women want you. Let's flip the script for a second. While it's essential to understand women's sexuality, it's equally important to embrace your own. Men are often shamed for their sexual desires, taught that wanting sex is wrong, or that it makes them less respectable. But here's the truth, owning your sexuality is the key to being a confident, attractive man. When you stop apologizing for wanting sex and start embracing it as a natural, powerful part of who you are, you'll notice a shift in how women respond to you. Women can sense when a man is comfortable with his sexuality, and it's incredibly attractive. There's nothing wrong with wanting sex, it's all about how you approach it. When you lead with confidence and respect, sex becomes a natural outcome of the connection you build. Let's talk about rejection, because it's a part of the game. No matter how confident, strong, or charismatic you are, there will be times when you face rejection. But here's the thing. Rejection isn't a reflection of your value. It's simply part of the process. The key is not letting it shake your confidence. When you embrace an abundant mindset, rejection stops being a big deal. You realize that for every woman who isn't interested, there are countless others who are. So instead of letting rejection get to you, learn from it and move on. Women are attracted to men who aren't fazed by rejection because it shows emotional strength and resilience. The more you embrace the possibility of rejection, the more fearless you become, and the more attractive you'll be. One more thing we need to address: the good guy mentality. A lot of men think that by being the nice, accommodating guy, they'll win a woman's affection. But as you've probably realized by now, that's not how attraction works. Women aren't attracted to men who put them on a pedestal or who go out of their way to seek approval. Being a good guy often means being passive, agreeable, and afraid to assert your own desires. And while there's nothing wrong with kindness, it has to be backed by confidence. Women are drawn to men who stand firm in who they are, who lead without needing validation, and who aren't afraid to walk away if things aren't right. If you've been operating from the good guy mindset, it's time to shift. Embrace your masculinity. Don't be afraid to take the lead, to challenge her, and to own your desires. Women don't want a pushover, they want a man who's real, confident, and unapologetically himself. So here's the bottom line. Women are just as sexual as men, and sometimes even more so. The only difference is how society has conditioned them to express it. When you learn to navigate these dynamics, when you lead with confidence, maintain your frame, and embrace your own sexuality, you unlock a world of abundance. You don't need to chase women. You don't need to beg for their approval. All you need to do is be the strong, confident man that you are, and women will naturally be drawn to you. By breaking free from the lies that have held you back, you'll start to see the beautiful truth, that there's no shortage of opportunity when it comes to sex, love, and connection. So embrace your masculine energy, create an environment where women feel safe to express themselves, and watch how everything changes. You are not bound by the limitations society has placed on you. The world is full of opportunities, and it's time for you to step into your power as a man. Hit that like button if this video opened your eyes, and don't forget to subscribe for more content that helps you master dating, confidence, and becoming the man you're meant to be. Stay confident, and remember, sexuality is your strength.